I'm going to do a new song now. It's newish. It'll see the light of day finally in a couple of weeks. It'll release as a single to preview our upcoming record. Anyone here from Houston, like me? Anybody at all?
Yeah.
Not you, Eric. I know where you're from.
You gonna have a release party?
Yeah, well, no. I wish we were going to have a release party, but it doesn't sound like we are. Maybe we will in March. Anyway, I grew up in Houston. I was a lucky kid. I had good parents, and they gave us everything we needed, and I went to a good private school. I was super privileged and lucky, and I had everything I could ever want or need. And most of my buddies that I went to high school with all became, lawyers or commercial real estate agents, oil and gas, stuff like that. But me, I obviously chose a different path in music, and we had a friend of ours named John who became a commercial salmon fisherman. He'd fish for salmon in Alaska during the summers, and then in the wintertime he'd spend in Galveston, which is a place, it's basically where I grew up, and he'd fix old furniture and in the wintertime, and then occasionally we'd go back to Alaska to do some crab fishing. And he's still doing that. He's in Alaska right now, and I wrote this tune for him and for me and anyone who is in the arts or has a different way of making a living, and it's just called John. I'm going to have some water, and I'll sing it for you.
Yeah. Good.
Brown water brushes up against boulders on Galveston Island. Sits my buddy John, he's been in the shop fixing up furniture damaged by floods that have come and have gone. And he's a modern day Kerouac and wannabe Banksy, silent, unsettled victim of time. Now the Coens are calling with the North on his mind. He'll be leaving this island for State 49. Seekers and searchers and drifters like me. Let it roll, let it ride, let it be. Way up in Alaska, from May to September, he works off the coast, living life off the grid, just hauling up nets. Chock full of sockeye, those beautiful bastards are gold bars with friends in that Bristol Bay life. It's a far cry from Houston, where all our old buddies wear coats and wear ties, and we'll raise up our glasses, 'cause they're all kicking asses. Most folks ain't wired like John and I, seekers and searchers and drifters like me. Let it roll, let it ride, let it be. Well, he hauled in this season over 300,000. Now he's back on the island, drifting away. He's made enough money to keep up this living and head back up north to Alaska come May. So to all you young seekers and all you young searchers and all you young drifters like John and like me, all living ain't easy when you don't have money, but money means nothing when you ain't living free. Seekers and searchers and drifters like me. Let it roll, let it ride, let it be. Seekers, searchers and drifters like me. Let it roll, let it ride, let it be. call, man. Great call. Well, thank you. I don't know how to talk to the audience anymore, y'all. I'm out of practice. Been playing too much golf and fishing too much.
That's your thing.
Yeah, I wish that were true. I've really just been sitting around the house, twiddling my thumbs, trying to find stuff to do in the yard. This tune is written by a friend of ours, and we recorded it on our next record. It's about a moment in history called the Whiskey Rebellion of 1794. What happened was, in western Pennsylvania, a town called Washington, Pennsylvania, back in those days, they were making whiskey illegally, technically, and the government sought their right to tax them, but it was really the only currency they had. So they rebelled, kicked the federal government out of town, and a lot of them moved down to Kentucky and started making moonshine there instead. But we went to this festival in Washington, Pennsylvania, based on this entire historical moment. We learned this song for that festival, and we played it. And I didn't think anyone was paying attention, but when we finished the first verse, it was one of the loudest applauses I've ever heard. And I mean, this place, people were basically reliving the moment. There were people in colonial garb. A little weird, to be honest. They've tar and feathered a guy with what I assume was melted chocolate. Anyway, this is how this song goes. It's called The Spirit of 94. Out beyond the hills in western Pennsylvania, good men support their families on whiskey from the grain. Ain't never had no money, ain't never had the need. Round and round the years we go, from harvest back to sea. Now colder wind is blowing, the tax man's drawing near, and with him comes the trouble to our way of life so dear. Hamilton decreed it, Washington each side. Them folks back east don't give a damn about the frontier life. Here's to old Tom and all the tinker's men. Don't you pay that spirit tax, you'll still be sure to mend. You can follow me to Pittsburgh, follow me to jail. Your revenue men can follow me all the way to hell. It was way back in the summer, 1794. Them upland Coe farmers couldn't take it anymore. They shot up General Neville's house and burned it to the ground. Sent him running with his marshals on back to Philly town. And now the grains are growing high and the water's flowing cold. Put it in the jug and jar and trade like it was gold. Jefferson is leaving and me, I'm right behind. Those feds can all jump in the sea. To me, that'd be just fine. Here's to old Tom and all the tinker's men. Don't you pay that spirit tax, you'll still be sure to mend. You can follow me to Pittsburgh, follow me to jail. Your revenue men can follow me all the way to hell. There's 13,000 soldiers in a U.S. uniform. We'll go down in Kentucky and make our shine for gold. And if they ever find us, we'll know just what to do. Let that limestone water flow down to that good old Mountain Dew. Here's to old Tom and all the Tinker's men. Don't you pay that spirit tax, you'll still be sure to mend. You can follow me to Pittsburgh, follow me to jail. Your revenue men can follow me all the way to hell. Thank you. And having too many of these wonderful St. Elmo's beers, everyone. St. Elmo beer, brought to you by St. Elmo's Beer and Cam Solar, everybody.
That'll get you.
We love you, Tony!
Carl. Well, there's nothing like a good old song about crack cocaine, everybody. I know. What? Now, this is a song written by a friend of mine named Caleb Clowder. It's he's up in Washington State where it's a big problem, and he wrote it for a friend of his who came out of the darkness. It's called "Been on the Rock So Long." Well, in the morning while you're sleeping, darling dear, you hear me weeping. I'm so weary and so lonesome. I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the rock so long. I'm so weary and so lonesome. I've been on the rock so long. Well, my body's growing weak and thin. I fear I'm on the path of sin. Lord, I can't stay here anymore. I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the rock so long. I can't stay here anymore. I've been on the rock so long. Lord, I won't let my path define me. I'll just pray and think of glory. Darling, won't you lift me up? I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the rock so long. Darling, won't you lift me up? I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the rock so long. Well, darling, won't you lift me up? I've been on the rock so long. But I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the rock so long. Well, I'll just pray and think of glory. I've been on the rock so long. I've been on the couch so long. I've been in my house so long.
Quarantine 2020.
Quarantine 2020, y'all. Well, since I made fun of my wife, I'll sing a love song that I wrote for her now. Oh God, I forgot this was on the internet.
Maybe pieces of it.
It's okay. She's got a good sense of humor. This is a tune I wrote for my wife. She wanted me to write a love song. And I'm not real good at writing love songs, but we bought this house and some property on Dripping Springs together and it meant a lot to me to be able to do that with her. It was just before we got married, and so that was part of it. And the other part was I was kind of wondering how long I could go on being on the road all summer, and so I made the mistake of downloading LinkedIn because I thought maybe I should get a regular job. And
No.
well, trust me, as soon as I tried, I gave up really quickly. I deleted it immediately, basically. Yeah. Everything's so different now than it was left the working world. Anyway, but I do think about going back to work all the time, especially recently. So that's kind of what this song's about. I want to start a family, I want to have kids, and making all that work. It's called Who Am I Kidding? Oak trees litter the landscape now, in crooked patterns, green and brown. Our memories here have just begun in a long tethered life. This house is steeped in love and sweat, and I've just begun to wake up yet to the smell of coffee coming from the kitchen. Lord, I love being home. I picked and sang my way out of the 9 to 5. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Some days I can't decide, but I've quite enjoyed the ride. I've been thinking about hanging it up, hanging it up, hanging it up, but Lord knows that I ain't gonna hang it up. Who am I kidding? I ain't easy to love, my dear. I stay out late and I never hear. How's it gonna take with a couple of kids? Lord, that ain't living. I wake up in the morning feeling 10 feet tall. When the evening comes, I ain't a man at all. 'Cause tomorrow I'll be 1,000 miles away from hearing you. I guess I could go back to school and get my master's done. Or maybe I'll build houses in the sweltering Texas sun and pretend that I'm still young. I've been thinking about hanging it up, hanging it up, hanging it up, but Lord knows that I ain't gonna hang it up. Who am I kidding? Well, I suppose we'll just keep at it, and we'll see what life will do. But the only things I know that I'm doing this with you, and that we haven't got a clue. I've been thinking about hanging it up, hanging it up, hanging it up, but Lord knows that I ain't gonna hang it up. Who am I kidding? I've been thinking about hanging it up, hanging it up, hanging it up, but Lord knows that I ain't gonna hang it up. Who am I kidding?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I think I'll play a bluegrass number that I like, and then maybe play some electric guitar after that. Is that cool? Just kidding. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I've been working all in the rain, tied to a dirty old ball and chain. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day, you wait for me and pray. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Oh dear mother, I've hurt you so. I've been cruel to you, I know. Dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Tell my brother, my sister, and dad, they're the best friends that I had. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some old day, you wait for me and pray. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh dear mother, I'll come some old day. Some sweet day they'll turn me loose from this dirty old calaboose. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Oh dear mother, I'll come home some old day. Cool. Well, wake me up now, pick me up off the floor. Wake me up now, pick me off the floor. I can't stay down here no more. See, I've been running for too damn long. Lord, I've been running for too damn long. I'm going back down home where I belong. Yeah, back down home, back where I belong. I've been running too damn long. Things move slow on the Gulf of Mexico. bay. I got an old flame living on the bay. Said I should come down there and stay. I picked up my old dog and an old guitar. I packed up my old dog and an old guitar. I'm gonna make my living singing at the bar. Back down home, back where I belong. I've been running too damn long. Things move slow on the Gulf of Mexico. Well, the signs I hear, the sights I see show up pieces of my memory. Where I was walking roads of oyster shells, ragged shrimples, ringing rusty bells. Things move slow on the Gulf of Mexico. Well, back down home, back where I belong. I've been running too damn long. Things move slow on the Gulf of Mexico. Things move slow on the Gulf of Mexico.
Fantastic, brother.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man. I wrote this soon after I'd seen some really horrible reality TV that I found to be kind of ridiculous. And then at the same time, not long after that, I was still working on the tune. It took me about a year to write it. At another point, I saw a video of some TV evangelists trying to convince their congregation to help them buy a new private jet. Because you need 2 private jets, everybody, if you're going to be a preacher. And in general, just, it's sort of a comment on modern hypocrisies and stuff. It's not that intense, but I hope you like it, and thanks again for listening. This tune's called Pigs. There's a gray-haired woman who's old and wise. She's been around and round a long damn time. She said things have changed since she was a girl. It's been hard to watch this mess unfurl. We hang our hats on reality stars. Look how cool and rich they are. I said it'd be like them and you'll go far. What fickle fools we are. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. From dust we rise and in the dust we lie, going round and round. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold hard clay. Pigs don't fly, we all gonna die, and you can't take your money to the grave. Screams from a man in a cold hard cash that Jesus is his guide and truth. Have you listened to him, son? I said, yes, sir, I've read his word. Seems you ain't read a single one. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. From dust we rise and in the dust we lie, going round and round. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, hard clay. Pigs don't fly, we all gonna die, and you can't take your money to the grave. It's a funny world that we're living in, full of lies, 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 lies. Love your neighbor as yourself, or you curse my name. I wish you well. Agree to cast such a wicked spell. Well, you hate me and I hate you. A bunch of pigs on the tube wanna make that true. But death don't care if you're wearing that crown. Yeah, you're still gonna end up underground. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. From dust we rise and in the dust we lie, going round and round. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, hard clay. Pigs don't fly, we all gonna die, and you can't take your money to the grave. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. From dust we rise and in the dust we lie, going round. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, hard clay. Pigs don't fly, we all gonna die, and you can't take your money to the grave. Thanks, everyone. Good night. Cheers, everyone. Thanks again for having me. Love y'all.